Well, this Thanksgiving, Jenna and I headed back to South Carolina to be able to spend time with friends and family. Took Sam and Jill along with us for the first part of the trip. It didn't take us too long before we decided to head up the mountains to one of my most favorite locations. This right here is overlooking one of the gaps right off of the drive between Clayton and Highlands. One of the most spectacular views. Got Sam up there and he was taken back.
Why do you live in Texas?
Jobs, that's it. That's it. Look at this.
Just that left him wondering.
I'm trying to find out why you came to Texas, leaving this behind.
Our trip to Highlands wouldn't be complete without going to Bridalveil Falls, a falls that you can actually drive behind. And we stopped off at Buck's Coffee. Without the star, a little less price, but twice the taste. Kicked off the holiday season by going to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra for the show in Greenville. Sunday of Thanksgiving, I got the honor to speak at Full Gospel Temple. And the Full Gospel Temple is a church that was started back in the 50s. While I was there, I actually learned that my grandfather, which this is a picture of the family from back in 1957, actually pastored that church. And so it was an honor, in a sense, for 3 generations of Norrises to have been involved. On Monday, I decided to take Travis up the Stump House Tunnel. Stump House was built back in the pre-Civil War era and was unable to be completed after the war because of funding.
What's up, guys? We're at Stump House Tunnel, South Carolina. About to walk to the very back of the cave in almost pitch darkness. Well, it is pitch blackness. It looks like. See? Can't see much further than a few feet in. So let's go see ourselves a dark tunnel.
And I know you're curious, what does it look like in the back of the tunnel? Well, here you go. It's dark. Behind the old mountain is an old pump house that Walhalla used to get all of its water from.
This is an old pump house dam that we're standing on top of that holds back probably 100 feet of water down below us. Abandoned. No longer used for anything. Just kind of like being taken back over by the mountain.
If you were to go downstream from the pump house, you'll find Issaquena Falls. One of the most beautiful waterfalls that we have in Oconee County, and here we are up underneath the waterfall.
I'm not in a giant rainstorm. I'm actually underneath Issaquena Falls. The legend of Issaquena Falls is a story that's known all throughout Oconee County. I will tell it to you later because chances are you can't hear a word I'm saying.
So this is the story of Issaquena Falls. There was a young Indian that was captured by the Cherokee Indians that lived up here in the hills of the mountains. And she actually lived and grew up with the Cherokee for a long period of time. She fell in love with one of the white settlers. And she had escaped the Indians. They'd actually set up home here around the falls and grew up. Well, there came a time where the Cherokee was upset with the white English settlers. And so they actually came in to recapture her. And so she had to flee for her life. So she made her way down to the falls, which the Cherokee believed that evil spirits lived within that, and she knew that, and she knew that they wouldn't follow her. She actually jumped off of the top part of the waterfall to the ledge that's right underneath, and she hid there unknowingly to the Indians. They thought that she'd gone off the side of the falls and that she was dead. So she waited for them to leave, and after that she then left and rejoined with her family. And that's why it's known as the legend of Issaquena Falls.
Up the mountain a little bit from Issaquena is Whitewater Falls. Whitewater Falls is where I actually asked my wife to marry me. Popped the question right there from that lookout point. One of the most beautiful waterfalls in South Carolina and North Carolina. We then came down the mountain to Picket Post. This is the Picket Post Community Club. Just in case anyone wonders whether or not I truly grew up in a little podunk town, there you go. The answer is yes. The Picket Post is home of Oconee Station. Now, Oconee Station was built more than 200 years ago, back during the 1700s, 1792, I believe. It was actually the western front of relations between the Europeans and the Indians. So this was a trading post and fort. You're actually looking right here at the trading post where they used to trade beads and furs, especially deer pelts. And then this right here is the garrison. Actually, we're ordered to build these about every 8 to 12 miles in the western front, just in case that the Indians were to attack. The colony had some place to be able to retreat to, and this garrison actually housed 20 to 30 soldiers at a time. Of course, what trip to South Carolina would be complete without stopping at Skin Thrasher's Hot Dogs?
This is my grandmother. Say hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine. a good hot dog.
Did you order enough?
I don't know. Probably not.
No, wait a minute. Here's the travesty. Jenna is having nothing.
You don't like skins?
Edna is
I've
having
already had them. Nada.
Now we've got to go back to Dallas. But before we go, we stop off at the original Chick-fil-a, originally known as the Dwarf House. This particular Chick-fil-a offers something that you can't get anywhere else, and that is, if you look up there at the board, hamburger, steaks. So the only Chick-fil-a that I know of that you can actually order beef. So there you go. That was our trip home. Got to see a little bit of the local flavor of my hometown. So happy Thanksgiving.